Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. I thought I'd give you a bit of an update of where I am right now. Well, college is finished completely and we've done the anthology night. That was quite mad. And I'm now officially I'll try again. Oh, it's happy to. I'm officially a published poet and illustrator. And here's a book. It's called Fireflies. It's just a compilation of all the stuff that we done on the anthology with my illustrations as well. Yeah, so I have my name right there. Oh, right in the middle, illustrator. I'm well chuffed. And I got a big certificate that's on my wall as well, to say that I completed it and I'm now a published poet. So yeah, I never thought that had happened, never in my life, but it has. And it's amazing what happens when you set your mind to stuff. I've been to so much with college and that. I'm going back again in September to do my maths. But I'll also be doing another 4-week course with Charlie, my creative writing teacher. She's asked me to come back, obviously, and not just to do the illustrations, but to do a bit more for the writing for well-being. So yeah, everything's going really well with that, and I am very, very shocked that my talents have been recognised, my artistic talents. I mean, it's one thing, sorry about the cat's tail, it's one thing to have your friends say that you're a good artist, but you know, complete strangers to want to take you on as part of their own work and add to it, you know, it's quite surreal. I never thought I'd see the day, you know, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, I like my drawing. It's one of my biggest talents. It's one of my escapes, or it has been. And it wasn't, for a long time, I couldn't draw, even though I could draw, but with my mental health, it took away my creative spark, really. My will to create. It was very rare that it would come along, but yeah, since this anthology it's really kicked it off again, and it's been really, really good to actually have people trust me with their words, and you know, trust me to handle them well and create some sort of artwork for them. And they all loved it, you know, they all loved their artwork, and they're in the book as well. They didn't, unfortunately, the pictures didn't come out as well as we wanted them to, because obviously it's everybody's first time of doing this. Charlie's never had anybody to illustrate any work before. But yeah, I mean, there's a pinky one, the one that I did. But yeah, it didn't come out as well as we'd expected. One of them come out really well. One of the girls, she refers to herself as an ovarian cyst, with enough teeth to pass as a human being. And in the poem, she sort of like refers to using humour as a shield and to protect herself. So there's the ovarian cyst. Ginger ovarian cyst, because she's ginger. Sorry, I forgot that bit. Yeah, ginger ovarian cyst with enough teeth to pass as a human being. But yeah, that came out really well. Unfortunately, I've been asked to do black and white pictures now, because obviously it costs a bit more to do the printing in colour. But as long as I do them in black and white, it'll be fine. So I've been given a load of paper. I've been bought some new pens by my teacher. A load of rubbers for some reason. and yeah, I'm going to create when she decides to send me a load more of her own stuff, as well as when the new class starts, I'll be doing their stuff too, and so on. So yeah, it's quite astonishing, considering when I started this channel, was it back in 2002, I think it was? I can't remember, or 2000, yeah, 2002 I think it was. Yeah, I never expected to get this far. I was a complete wreck. Would hardly leave the house. And now I've done 2 college courses, passed one so far. I get the results for the English. It's actually the day I go Creamfields again. So I'll be picking up my exam results on the morning I go to Creamfields, which I'm looking forward to again. So we'll see how we go. But even if I don't pass, I'll be able to do another exam in November. I think it is November anyway. But I will have to get more marks. It's a bit more difficult. They'd expect you to get a lot more right, because obviously you've done the past year and then you're doing a few more months before the second exam. You know, if you failed it this time, but fingers crossed, I won't be failing. Because I had no confidence that I'd pass science last year, but yeah, the combined science, physics, chemistry and biology, passed all that with flying colours. So yeah, fingers crossed we shall get it this time as well. If you've been following what's been happening lately with my last 2 videos, my message to the family, because my gran died. She was one of my main abusers. One of the main reasons why I've developed mental illness in the first place. Yeah. So the family are just proving to be just as toxic as what she is. Very much so. Still, you know, I've tried to reach out to them so many times, tried to explain myself. I just get called a whinger. Yeah. Basically, and a liar. And it's quite funny because one of my aunties has got in contact with me since I've done that video for the family, and she was like, "Oh, I don't know where you heard all that from. You know, it's all lies. You know, your dad died a very happy man. He wasn't broken at all. You know, nobody told him that you hated him. It's all lies. I don't know where you're getting it all from." So I sent her a snapshot of the conversation that me and her had had, where she told me that I'd caused him harm. And the same with my Auntie Christine, where she states that everybody knew that I hated him. The family knew that I'd hated him and all that. So I just sent that back saying, you know, it's your own lies. And it just gets thrown back in my face, it gets denied. And it's just typical narcissistic behaviour. You know, they're never going to own up to these things, they never will do. They throw it back at you, and then they go quiet because they've been caught. They don't know what to do, because they know they can't manipulate me anymore. And it was funny because everything that I said in that video, there were so many different things that my Auntie Elaine could have said, that she could have complained about, you know, poked holes in or whatever, or even tried to, or mention at least, and she didn't. The only thing that she mentioned was about my dad, and she twisted it, making out that I'd accused her of telling my dad that I hated him, when in fact no, I didn't. It would never come into the equation because that's my mum. My mum hated my dad. Well, it was her stepdad, my granddad, but he brought me up. He raised me as his own, and he was the only dad I ever knew, so he is my dad, basically. He's not my biological dad, not as far as I'm aware. He might be. My family's that sick that it would happen. You know, some of the sick stuff that they've done to me and to other people, yeah, it's a scenario that could very well play out, especially with my mum, the way that she is, and the predator that she is. Um, yeah, but yeah, my Auntie Elaine, she twisted it round and put it all on her, that I was blaming her. And this is what my family does. They take what you say and they twist it. They twist facts, they lie to make it seem like they're the victim, when in fact it's me that's been the victim all along. It's me that's been abused by all of them in one way or another. Neglect or proper abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse. I think they're all a bit guilty of the mental abuse. Maybe not my dad, because he was like me. He was an empath. And it's sick, really. It really is. But I don't know what they expect me to be like right now. Probably like I used to be. I used to run away. I used to go and hide. Instead of confronting people, instead of speaking my truth and staying with my truth. I'd run away and hide. But when you've been abused since a very young child, that's what you do. You run away from danger. You go and hide from danger. You're quiet. You don't speak up because you're going to get hurt. So, this is why I've not spoken up for so many years. And why I find it very difficult to speak up in the first place. But over these last 3 years now, since my dad died, it's been the forefront of my healing, is to speak my truth and to believe my own truth. Believe what I've been through, to figure out what was actual lies that they'd made up, that they'd conditioned me to think about myself, the kind of person that I was. And the person that they were making me out to be was actually them, My mum swaps people's lives for her own, makes it her own. There's so many things that she swapped and told me that she was suffering from. It wasn't actually her, it's from her best mate that was going through all that shit. But because we weren't close, me and her best mate, which we've come to the conclusion that she purposefully kept us apart, so we wouldn't meet, become brilliant friends, because we're so alike, we could have gone so much further in our lives if we'd have met each other and became good friends. But my mum kept us apart, She knew that we was online friends. I'd met her a few times, but Heather would always ask my mum to bring me over, but my mum would never invite me. She never she never told me, because she wanted Heather all to herself. So because Heather's a very giving person, but also if me and Heather got talking, we would have instantly realised all the lies that my mum was saying, and had been saying for so many years, all the twisted stories, but people are finding out now. It's like when I talk to people outside my family that know the family, they all know how horrible they are. I never knew this. I've only just found this out since my gran died. They all know that they're nasty, sadistic people. And their karma will come. They will get their karma. And I don't have to do anything about that. All I've got to do is look after myself. All I've got to do is love myself. All I've got to do is work on myself, moving forward, no matter what they say. And it's just so funny that they still try and target those things that they think would hurt me, because that was the only reason that my Auntie Elaine mentioned my dad in the message. It was all focused on him. Nothing about anything else I'd said about her that you would think that she would have added to it, but no, it was just that, and it was purely for emotional manipulation. It didn't work. Tapped myself on the back there, Kaz, well done, for not letting it affect you, because whereupon for many years, I've taken it out on myself. Something like that, again, would have sent my head straight up my bottom, head up arse syndrome, and I would have taken it out on myself. I'm not saying it didn't affect me. Yeah, it affected me. But instead of it affecting me for years, it was like 5 minutes. Literally 5 minutes. As I sort of like sat there, shocked by what she was saying, and the old reactions coming up. And it was like, it's not true, guys. You know it's not true. You know what she's trying to do. And those feelings just went, gone again. It was great, absolutely brilliant. Everything, even with the anthology, you know, I was absolutely shitting myself. Really, really trembling. And I shot myself in the foot because on anthology, well, just before anthology night, I'd been writing a poem about the anthology. So I passed it on to my teacher. And Charlie was like, "Oh, so you're up first then?" I was like, "Oh no, shit." Yeah, so yeah, as soon as she'd done the introduction, I had to go up and say my little poem. Oh my god, I couldn't stop shaking. I couldn't stop shaking at all. But I'm glad I did it. I really am glad I did it, because it was another one of those step out your comfort zones and conquer a fear. You know, feel the fear and do it anyway. And my positivity cards are well in. I've got them here actually. I was going to do some, but I might make another video on that actually, a separate one to this one. But yeah, everything seems to be going okay. Nothing seems to have messed up since I've started working on myself, since I've started realising how people manipulate, and even doing the creative writing, having that space where I can really open up and express certain parts of myself that have been silenced for so long, and not get judged for it, not get called a whinger or a liar, you know, not have it shoved back in my face. It's been a healing experience. I was shitting myself when I first started the course because Charlie was asking me to write all these negative things, fears and stuff, and it was traumas that I'd been trying not to focus on, I've been trying to heal from. And I thought that having to think about them all again, I would be extremely triggered, like it had done in the past, you know. Talking to therapists about things and stuff, I've not been able to do that, you know, gone home and been worse off than when I went to the therapist in the first place, like, you know, reliving the trauma. Even though I felt safe in that environment, it just wasn't. With the therapist, it was weird. Yeah, it just wasn't the right time. But it's been the right time now, since I started the creative writing course. It was the right time, and the right space to do that sort of thing, and to be encouraged, and to have your classmates sit there and cry. Same as me, sitting there and crying with their, you know, their pains, you know. It's been a very healing experience. It's been a very humbling experience. I'm feeling the tears coming up again, but it's a sadness. There's so many people going through the same sort of thing. And they're not allowed to talk about it. Or they've been told they're not allowed to talk about it. And they've got nowhere to talk about it other than the therapist. And if you don't gel with a therapist, or if it's the wrong kind of therapy, it can cause more harm. As I found out myself, you know, I've often gone home from therapies that didn't work, that actually triggered me more. And, you know, obviously self-harmed from it. But through all this experience, I've seen just how far I've come. You know, I can't put myself back to where I was, where my brain used to be. My brain's not the same, not anymore. It's doesn't function like it used to. It still does in certain ways, I still get procrastination, and I still just think that that's still childhood traumas that have not been dealt with yet. And it's funny because when my gran died, Pinky felt free. That terrified toddler that I used to be, that they called Pinky. My nickname as a child, Pinky. She felt free when my gran had died. So free. And she knew that the abuse wasn't going to carry on. It couldn't. And because me as an adult now, Kaz, I know all the tricks. I know all the manipulation tricks, all the emotional things that they try to trigger in you. And I can see what they're doing. And I could sit there and I could point out every single little thing. How they twist words, how they use certain words, so many different things, and for the reasons, give them the reasons why. But with my family it's pointless because it's not going to do anything. Or maybe a couple of them might actually sort of like realise that, oh fuck yeah, that's what's happened. But there'll be others that will just plain blank deny anything, even though they know deep down who they are and what they've done. They are delusional, absolutely delusional. And I think, especially my mum, she's just way too old now to change. My Auntie Elaine, she just sounded like my gran. It was like I was looking at texts from my gran, so obviously she's exactly the same. I never used to see that though. And it's funny because when I was looking through the conversations that I've had with them, my Auntie Elaine and my Auntie Christine, it was all nice and good and all this and that, all nice and everything, and they was happy to have me back in their lives. From 2016 I think it started that I started talking to them again. Up until just before, well, it was up until I messaged my gran when she told my Auntie Elaine not to tell me that she's got cancer, or she had cancer, terminal cancer. And that was back in 2021, I think. So, yeah, or even late 2020, I can't remember. Oh, no, was it? No, it was 2019 when I moved in. That's when she first told me. And it was since then, 3 years of up until that point, everything was fine. We was, swapping. I was even swapping my artwork and telling my Auntie Christine, show Dad, how far I've come now with my artwork, and then always asking about him and how he was doing, especially with the diagnosis of my gran. And you can see through the conversations, exactly how I was. And my concerns for somebody I loved, my dad. But then all of a sudden, obviously, I'd messaged my gran because I thought, right, well, I'd better speak up after so long of not speaking up at all, if she's going to die. Because, they made out that she was on her last legs, basically. And to be honest, I think it was more that my dad was on his last legs and my gran took over, She was the head narcissist, sadistic narcissist. Let's put the focus on her instead of my dad, She would have made it her story. The same as my mum makes everybody's story hers, swaps their life for hers. And then, tells everybody that they're like what she is, in real life. It's just sick, it really is. And it's all manipulation. It's also they look like the victim. So the victims look like the abusers. That's what they do, And it's only when people start speaking up that these people get exposed. I mean, my family's getting exposed. There's certain people that I've been talking to that knew things were going on. They knew that the family wasn't a nice family, just from their own experiences. And they didn't know what was going on with me. They never knew. Some of them knew what they heard, basically. You know, my neighbours across from me, I used to play with their son, Paul. You know, we was good friends growing up, you know. I used to stay over there a hell of a lot. And his mum, Jean, Jean. Oh, sorry. I thought I'd forgotten her name then, but it is Jean. Yeah, I saw her many years after I'd moved out, and I'd actually had my daughter. So you were about 23, I suppose I was. I was kicked out at 16, so I'd not seen her since then, really. And she said to me, I always hate what they did to you. I always hated what they did to you. I never knew that she knew. I never knew that anybody knew. But yeah, she had the cries, she had the shouting, she had me screaming from pain, you know, when I'm getting hit. She saw the unreasonable behaviour. Yeah, so there's lots of people out there that see it, lots of people out there that know it, it's just them that won't admit it. But yeah, I'm not bothered with that. I'm not bothered about that at all. The universe will sort that out. Balance is being restored all over the world at the moment, you know. People are being exposed for who they really are, on both sides, you know. The good people are being seen for the good people, and the bad people are being seen for just how bad they really are. And this is what it's all about, isn't it, you know? When you start looking at the wider picture, or the bigger picture, you know, it's not just our separate lives that we have, we're all connected, we're all part of this universe, and we all need to heal. We all need a new way of thinking, because the way that we've been thinking, and you know, with the narcissistic tendencies and them keeping us so stifled and locked up and hidden, the dynamic's changing. It's people like me and Heather and all the other empathetic, kind, loving, or what they call soft, you know, quiet, shy people are starting to stand up for themselves, and that's what the universe wants. The universe wants us to take back our power, but not in a bad way. You do it with love, you know. You start changing yourself, your beliefs about yourself that you've been taught from an early age. You start believing in yourself, believing in your abilities. And then these people can't lie anymore, because everybody sees who you are. You know, people start slagging me off, and other people that know me will be like, no, that's not that, no. And they'll start recognising who they are. And if you start helping other people understand the narcissistic behaviour, understand why they're feeling like they are, and show them the tactics, the emotional manipulation, the penny drops. It's like, oh, fuck yeah. And then they start to heal. You know, they stop blaming themselves for everything, for all the abuse that's happened to them, for all the lies, you know, all the false narratives. They stop blaming themselves, and they start fixing themselves. They start having their own life at last. I mean, I'm 50, nearly. 19th of December, I'm 50. You know, and my life has only just started properly in the last 3 years. You know, I should have been going through this, what I'm going through now, when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, you know, but I couldn't, because my head was being battered every day by a load of abusers, basically. how could my brain function under that stress, under that conditioning, you know? Trying to work out everything, you know, that just wasn't true. Of course my head was fucked up, trying to work out lies. You know, nothing sort of like added up. And I know my brain's a very good brain. My brain's capable of amazing things. But it was just nurtured in the wrong way, by the wrong people. It was in the wrong environment. You know, if I could download my brain onto a PC and I could send anybody, you know, have it all in files with all the video files there, and, you know, neatly typed out script for every single moment of my life, you'd see, you know, an innocent baby being born, and you'd see from my environment how my brain was moulded by everyone, all the way through my life. But it's in those early stages of growing up that your mind's moulded the most. Those are the ones that are set for life. Those are the lessons that you learn, or the opinions that people throw at you of who you are, and you know, you learn from others who you are. You don't learn who you are by yourself, especially in that environment, because you're not allowed to know who you are. You're not allowed to have your own personality. You're not allowed to have your own life. It's manipulated and micromanaged, purely so you will obey, so you'll be submissive, so you won't fight back, so you won't speak up, so you hide, so you'll be all nice and kind and people please and keep people happy as much as you can. You won't argue back. You know, there's so many things that you won't do, which you should do. You should be able to argue back, to question everything and get facts back. You know, just, I've told you, you're not allowed. That's it. You know, no explanation whatsoever. Because there's no explanation because it's not valid. It's not right. It's wrong. And there's so many people that are fucked up from their upbringings, from the people that they're around. But yeah, you'd see the progression, very much so. If I could download and send you my file of my brain, of my memories of what I've lived, you would see it develop into sort of like insecurities, and you'd see it develop into isolation, self-isolation. You'd see me develop more mental illnesses, more severe mental illnesses. You'll see me become drug dependent. You'll see me trying to take my life, you know, self-harm every time I was triggered. Basically, every time somebody triggered me in a certain way, I'd act a certain way. And you'd see that all my decisions of my life have been based on all of that abuse, all of those memories, all of that conditioning. All my choices were based off of that. You will see that when I finally broke free, that my brain started to change again, for the better. Where I couldn't go out the house, I couldn't leave the house, I couldn't answer the phone, I couldn't speak to anybody online, not even people closest to me. You know, you'll see the progression of me getting better, and you can actually see that from when I first started these videos, how I was to how I am now. I mean, when I look back at when I first started this channel, I was a mess, I really was. And that was after a hell of a lot of work as well. And I got better, and I got better, and better, and better, when I dealt with a lot of childhood problems, childhood issues. When I started to understand that it was the mental abuse and the people that abused me And the people around me still trying to manipulate me through my kindness, basically, and my people pleasing, and emotional manipulation, basically pulling on the heartstrings. Feel sorry for me, feel sorry for me, feel sorry for me. So I'd help, I'm a helper. I like to try and help people heal. I try to fix things. I'm a problem solver, big problem solver. Which isn't a bad thing, really, It's not a bad thing at all. But narcissists and toxic people with narcissistic behaviours, they use those emotions to get what they want. They use those emotions to keep you trapped. They use those emotions to manipulate you to do whatever, what I got to do is feel sorry for me because this has happened, that's happened, or make you angry, or because of this, that, and the other, or I'll just ignore you, so you wonder what's wrong, what have you done wrong, you start head going 1,000 miles a minute, it's just not, your brain's not supposed to function like that, it's not. That's survival mode, and to be kept in that for a lifetime, it's dangerous. I do believe that it's linked to Alzheimer's and dementia, traumas not been dealt with, stress hormone attacking your brain because you're constantly stressed. The more you stress, the more the stress hormone kicks in. And through my progression of my own mental illness, the reason why I self-harmed and the reason why I wanted to end it all was because I didn't know any other way to stop it. Nobody had taught me how to cope. Nobody had taught me because they didn't want me to cope, and they still don't want me to cope because they want me to be submissive so they can carry on with their narrative, so they can carry on with their abuse. But I know what's going on now. I know exactly what they're doing, and every time they do it to me, I'll be pulling them up for it. And it's not just my family. It's ex-boyfriends as well that come back. They think they can treat me the same way. And there's some things that I've been... they've treated me like shit for lies that somebody else has told them, But they've believed it. Because I was too afraid to stand up for myself, too afraid to speak up, too afraid to question anything. Maybe if I had spoken up, and questioned things, told my truth, maybe things would have been different. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. Because I have spoke my truth now. Whether it makes a difference or not, I don't know. But yeah, it doesn't matter really, does it? I'm just going to carry on with my life either way. Whereupon I used to say, waiting, better wait and see what happens, just in case. What if, maybe, I better not do anything just in case. No, fuck it. Go and live your life, go and do what you want to do. Don't fucking sit waiting for somebody that's not going to come. Or if they do, they're just going to fucking manipulate you, get what they want, and then fuck off again, No, I'm not like that anymore. Nobody should be like that. I've got more respect. But I was never taught that. Nobody taught me to have self-respect. Nobody taught me to love myself. But they taught me to have no respect for myself. No respect for anything about myself. They taught me to hate myself. And they taught me that I was worthless. That I had no contribution to life at all, especially their lives. I was a burden. I was the cause of all their problems. No, I was just a scapegoat, so they could blame me for all of the abuse that they was doing to everybody else, as well as me, But yeah, I have now sort of got through all that. not sort of, I have got through that. And I am now moving forward in ways that I never would have expected. Like I say, in a lot of my videos, I never thought that I'd get this far. I never saw a future. You know, there was a point in my life where if you'd have asked me where I'd be in 5 years, I'm 6 foot under. I couldn't even think that I'd ever have a life, that I'd ever amount to anything. That's because I was told I would never have a life, and I would never amount to anything because I didn't have any worth, even though I had every single worth in the world, you know. I was capable of many, many good things. I was a decent person. I was very intelligent. I was very kind. I worked like a horse, you know. Very talented in many different aspects. Capable of learning very quickly different things. A decent fucking human being, really. But no, they took all that away. They made me believe that I was the complete opposite. And they're still trying to make me believe that I'm a nasty, horrible, lying person that causes them harm, when it's the other way around. It's simply just the other way around. But yeah, that's for the universe to sort out with them. They're living their karma now because I'm not putting up with it anymore, you know. People know who they are. I know who they are. It doesn't work anymore. And they've got to live with that for the rest of their lives. And I hope one day that they do realise, really. The sooner the better, really, because then they start to heal. You can only start healing when you start admitting to yourself who you are. You know, you can't lie to yourself. You can't lie to other people about who you are, because you are lying to yourself, and you can't heal from lies. You heal from the truth. Those deep, dark truths. They're not dark truths, because the truth of who you are, really, if you look at it on a soul level, your soul's amazing. It's just what you've learned, what you've been taught to be like, you know. Because my Auntie Elaine, she's been taught to be a narcissist. My mum's been taught to be a narcissist by a narcissist. And they were the two oldest of the family, so I think it sort of like disperses a bit, maybe, in certain aspects, but, you know, people cope with things differently. You either become like your abuser, or you could become the complete opposite, you know, and you try and help others. That's where I am. You know, I became the complete opposite of my abuser. And I can empathise with so many people over so many different subjects, because there's many that I've lived myself, you know, and I would not want anybody to go through some shit that I've been through, believe me. I really, not even my worst enemy, I wouldn't want them to go through the shit that I've been through. But it's not for me to judge, really, because I know it's all conditioning. Even my gran, you know, she was born into some sort of family. I don't know dynamics, nobody will talk to me about that. My family's not very open at all, obviously for reasons that I've already stated, because they're abusive bastards and, you know, they don't want to admit to anything. And anything that comes out their gob is a lie anyway, you know, it's just a fabricated fucking bits and bobs of somebody else's story, you know, that isn't even theirs. Or twisted facts to make them seem the victim and somebody else seem like the abuser. So even if they did sit down and tell me everything, I can't guarantee any of it will be true. I mean, if they sat down and gone, well, yeah, I did this and I did that, and it's all toxic stuff that they're saying, then yeah, I probably would believe it, actually. But I'd give them respect for coming out and saying the truth, you know? You can't heal from lies. You can only heal from truth. And I don't just mean you, your own individual self. I mean, it's the only way you can heal relationships. You know, I always leave the door open for people. If they want to tell me the truth, I'm happy to accept the truth and move on from it. If they're going to tell me a load of fucking lies to make me out to be the bad person, to be the one to blame, then I'm just going to fucking walk away and leave them. I don't have to deal with lies. I don't have to deal with liars. I don't have to deal with manipulators. It's my choice. Just like it was their choice to abuse and to change the narrative to make them look like the victim. It was their choice. Yeah, they'll get theirs one day. And it won't be from me. It'll just be from the universe, and it'll be all their karma coming back to them. While they sit and watch me get everything that I should have got from an early age, you know. I should have got a decent upbringing. I should have got a loving family. I should have been nurtured and taught how to cope, how to live, how to survive in a world full of monsters, basically. But no, I was brought up by the monsters. They're not going to teach me how to survive in a good world and be a good person. They're just going to teach me to be abused and to stay abused and to not speak up for being abused. To not even realise that I'm being abused in the first place. Not to realise that I'm being emotionally manipulated for their whatever they decide that they want at that time or in the future, you know. But that's really it. It's time for me to start waffling on because I've been doing it for like 46 minutes now. It's been a while, hasn't it? Hello. But yes, I am now a published author and, not author, published poet and illustrator. I wonder what I'm going to be next. I wonder how far my life's going to progress. But I can't knock it. In the last 3 years, I've not gone backwards. Because it used to be like 1 step forward, 10 steps back, 1 step forward, 10 steps back. But that was because I was around the wrong people at the time, because they was always knocking me back. So any progression that I had that was good for myself, they'd see a change. They'd see that they were losing me, and they'd do their utmost to knock me back to where I was, and they'd make damn sure that I was back there. And they didn't give a shit what I did to myself, you know. They'd be happy for me to have died, because then they could be like, oh, I've lost my daughter, oh, you're sorry for me. I don't even want to play that part because it's just so fucking pitiful and nah. I'm not even gonna go there. But anyway, yes. So yes, I've waffled on, and it's nearly 1 o'clock in the morning as well. It's probably why I'm waffling, because I'm tired. But yeah, hopefully I'll start doing some more videos now. I've got more time on my hands. I'm not focused on anything else other than just my life and me and moving forward. And obviously being kind and helping people and, you know, helping people heal and that. I've been down Heather's for the last few days, only come back today. And she's moving forward so much too. It's brilliant to see just how she's feeling in herself. And the things that she's doing, the people that she's standing up to. She's not taking any shit anymore from anyone. She's not taking the lies anymore. And her life is moving forward too. And she's 55, you know? And her life's only just starting moving forward. And she was in the same sort of family dynamic. She had a very narcissistic father. But she was a punching bag, you know. She was a scapegoat again, but she was a punching bag too. And yeah, I mean, I look at the way my gran was with me, and she tells me about how her dad was with her, and there are big similarities but he was very, very, very nasty man towards her. Not that he sexually abused her or anything like that, it was just the physical battering and the mental, verbal abuse towards her, you know, and it's no wonder she didn't think very much of herself. You know, and my mum knew all this as well. She didn't care, she didn't try to help her at all. She just took from her, you know, and took all of her stories too, took all of her ailments and made them her own. Because my mum told me that she was going blind. She's not. It's Heather that's going blind. And my mum told me that she had spondylosis in her neck, you know, fusing of the joints in the neck, just through wear and tear and all that, and accidents and stuff like that, which is a load of bollocks because it's Heather that all that's happened to. What else was it? Oh yeah, my mum told me that she was a heroin addict, and that she locked herself. How can you lock yourself into a room and went cold turkey to get off it? No, she didn't. She's taken that story from Heather. Heather's sister locked her in a room until she got off it. It's, you know, it's just those sick things that people twist and make it their own and take away from people that can't speak up for themselves. People have been taught that can't speak up for themselves, taught not to speak up for themselves, you know. And that's why they do it, because they know they're going to get away with it, because nobody's going to stop them. Nobody's going to speak up. And even if somebody does speak up, eventually, they'll just lie and twist. And it's quite bad when you're not around these people, because they can say what they want, and there's nobody there to stop them. And they will, believe me, they will. And they'll twist and you know, change facts and lie and add this, take out that, and just make it so they're the victim and the victim is the abuser. But yeah, time will come. I'm starting waffling again. So yeah, it's time for me to say goodbye and maybe do it. Oh, there we are. Breathe in the relaxation and breathe out the tension. Yeah, it's time for me to do one of these, I think, as well. So, but yeah, I shall be doing more videos now. Now I've got a bit more time on my hands, and I've not got so many things going on in my personal life. Yeah, so I hope you're all having a wonderful life. I hope you're all moving forward. I hope you're finding the strength to be yourself. I hope you're finding the strength to be who you want to be and do what you want to do and to speak your truth. I mean, obviously, if you're in a dangerous situation where you think, you know, you can't speak your truth because you are going to get harmed in a bad way, then, you know, don't find a safe place, a safe space to do that. And if you need to get away from these people, do your best to get away, because your life will change completely, absolutely completely. Your anxiety will go, the panic attacks will go, the mental fog will go, the spiralling thoughts will go, the self-harm thoughts will go, depression will go, and you know, so many other things will go once they've gone too. Your life will change, your brain will physically change. You'll feel your brain change. It's quite funny. You do feel your brain making, you know, oh, it's weird, tingles. Parts of your head will tingle that have never tingled before. It's very surreal, very alien, but so good. so good. And you're worth doing the hard work for it. And believe me, it's no harder than being where you are now. It's scary, yes, and it's fear that stops us. It's the fear of the unknown, the fear of what if this and what if that and what if. Just do it. It can't be any worse than what you are now. You know where you are now. It's worth every single step, every single tear. It's worth just for you to get your life and to live something different, because it's there, it's available. You don't have to live with mental illness. You do the work and it gets easier and easier and easier, and then it just becomes natural, becomes normal brain function. Just to be calm, be quiet, be stable in your head. For your head to be quiet. I never knew that my head could be quiet. But yeah, I can sit there and my brain doesn't go spiralling off into different conversations and scenarios and thoughts and every direction, over every topic, over every subject, over my whole life. That's how it used to be, constantly in my head, until my eyes shut and I fell asleep. And then as soon as I woke up in the morning, it'd start all over again. And there was no shutting it off. No shutting it off except for sleep. But now, I can sit, and my brain, my mind, those thoughts, they're quiet. Nothing's speaking. Obviously, under stressful situations, like it has been for the last month, or the last 2 months really, I suppose. Yeah, it triggered me. Yeah, I'd go into thoughts. But it was a normal process. It was for a normal amount of time. I wasn't spending days, weeks, months, years stuck in my own head. 5 minutes. Penny would drop. Okay, right, so this is what's going on. That's how we respond. This is what we'll do. And that was it, you know. And there was no rumination of a bit of procrastination, I suppose, through the triggers. But that's older habits die very hard. And I do think that sort of thing is related to trauma, you know, ADHD and things like that. It's a trauma response, and once you deal with these traumas, once you understand why you've got them, and that you're thinking from like a child's point of view in an adult's body, it's very eye-opening. Your brain sort of like goes, okay, I understand that, that's truth. Oh, let's move on. We've dealt with that, processed it, let's go for the next one. What's next? And that is what healing is about. It's seeing what's wrong, or seeing what's unnatural, what's unhealthy, understanding why, and then fixing it. Once you've fixed it, there's no going back. Unless you put yourself voluntarily into those toxic situations again. And like all neuroplasticity, you know, your brain's going to get moulded back into that depressed, toxic way of thinking again. But it is repetition. Over and over and over again. Same thing, same thing, same thing. Whether it's good or bad. If it's bad, your head's going to get fucked. If it's good, you're going to heal, you know. Simple as that. So, right, 59 minutes now. So yeah, nearly an hour. Time to say goodbye and go to bed. Right, so good night everybody. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry for waffling. And if you would like to buy the book, it is on Amazon. It's only like, I think it's £4.45. And it's got 3 of my poems in, all the artwork's mine, and the rest of the work in there is from the class that I was in with all my classmates, all those wonderful people that opened up to, and there is some amazing stuff in there, there really is. Some of the people are just absolutely amazing with how they speak and what they come out with, and just how strong they are. Not that they actually realise that, but they will do one day. They'll see their worth like I do. So yes, time to say goodbye everyone. Love you lots.